Hello everybody and welcome back to the Bus Videos YouTube channel. I'm Bus Videos, otherwise known as More Central, depending on what day of the week and what video you're watching. And welcome to a bus I wasn't actually going to be driving to start off with, but I got very distracted. And when I loaded up the bus selection menu, the lovely Lothian spec'd out Master Switch Studios Veiling B7RLE presented itself. Yes, the registration does not correlate to a Lothian bus, it is just a WA, so just ignore the registration, it doesn't correlate. However, I saw the lovely Harlequin livery with all the little sort of like diamonds on it, a livery that I've absolutely loved since I was a kid. Really did absolutely dig this livery. I saw this livery present itself with the Lothian interior and I thought, you know what, we'll have a little drive of this. I've got quite a few buses and bits lined up for the next few videos, but a little bit of a distraction never goes amiss every so often. So as we are blinded up, we're at Bowdenham Green. We're going to be covering the 437 on Bowdenham version 5 to Garston Manor. We've now covered sort of enough other different routes and bits like that to be now in the situation where, oh, we've got to insert a module. There we go. We're now in the situation where we can revisit Bowdenham. We'll take a few different buses on the bits and we'll sort of see potentially if there's any bits that we missed when we initially covered the map to start off with, when we sort of did all the different routes. Oh. There we go, that's all set up. So let's make our way round. So the route itself is timetabled at 23 minutes long. It's one of the routes that doesn't go into the centre of Apsley. I do prefer some of these. I think these sort of more external services are pretty fun to do, pretty fun to drive. Little bit of variety from sort of just going, oh, that's very tight. That is a bit tighter than I anticipated. But we made it, there we go. So I do love Lothian spec vehicles. I did my first trip to Edinburgh. There is some videos coming out on the More Central channel very soon and focusing around my first trip to Edinburgh, having a look around. It was my first time to Scotland in about 6 years, I think. So there was a lot to see and do when I went. I focused predominantly on the stagecoach sort of coach services that allowed me to travel to a few different cities and explore the cities themselves rather than focusing on the individual city networks. That as a result meant, unfortunately, I ran out of time to sample Lothian buses. I even had a friend of mine who invited me along to join, but there was that much to do. I'm saying it was my first time visiting Edinburgh. There's that much to see and do there, and we went during the Fringe as well, that I just sort of ran out of time. We'll get a nice screenshot. I fully ran out of time to sample any Lothian buses. That was a shame because Lothian buses, I do really want to sample them. However, it does mean that I've got to go back again in the future to sample the Lothian fleet, especially now that they've got their brand new BZL double-deck electric buses. Now for Lothian, the BZLs mark a huge milestone, being fully electric vehicles. It also comes at the same time that Lothian buses have started to dispose of their hybrid vehicles, with all of their ADL Enviro 400 hybrids that they converted to diesels themselves, proving that unreliable that they did sell them. Thus why they've ended up with sort of well-graded group with TM Travel and Notts and Derby. They've also started selling some of their B5LH vehicles that are still hybrid vehicles, unlike the ADLs. They've started selling them off in hybrid format. So they've not had any changes made to them. The ones that they did have and have acquired over time, a few of them I believe have ended up in the London country business and have now ended up starting to be sold. There's an example at the moment at Birmingham Busworks, and I believe if they do have any left in use now, if they haven't already been withdrawn, they will also be getting sold on for future use. Why are my interior lights not on? There we go, interior lights are now on. I think. Yeah, they are. There we go, that's a bit better. This is the thing sometimes with these with the AI passengers, you can't tell if they want your bus or not. Which I did used to say was an OMSI 2 thing. However, after a few recent experiences, I won't go into full detail on, but after a few recent experiences, it's become very apparent that it can also be a very generalised thing with passengers in real life as well, with passengers who may potentially not realise that there's 4 or 5 different bus services go from the same stop, and may just assume you're going to stop. That very recently I've sort of dealt with quite a bit, actually. I don't know if it's the services I've been driving, or it's just been the day of the week I've been working, or just pot luck. However, recently I seem to be dealing with a lot more sort of situations where passengers don't realise that it's the bus stops are request stops until I'm about to pass them, and then it's followed by a lot of panic. And sometimes what's even more concerning is it's actually followed by not so much panic, but just this assumption that a little tiny sort of waft of the hand is going to grasp your attention. There's also a slight bit of a concern that I noted as well. Something else that was quite interesting recently with the driving, I'm not mentioning too much. There's a brand new, I repeat, brand new series starting on the Ammo Central channel, I believe, next week. So I'm not going into too much detail because that series sort of, and again, you get a few spoilers on the Bus Videos channel. That series starting next week, I believe it is going to go into a little bit more detail, about bus driving and my experiences. So that series is going into a little bit more detail there. There's a bit of driving involved and stuff like that. So I'm not going to tell too many stories because that's what that series is for. That series is for stories. That series is for our experiences, bits like that. If you have anybody that doesn't watch this channel but watches the Ammo Central channel, don't spoil it for them. I want them to sort of have a surprise around it. But again, because you watch the Bus Videos channel, you get a little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming on the main and Ammo Central channel. That's always how it's worked here. Gosh, this is rapid, is this, boss? I'm very glad I slowed down there. Well, this is what I love about Bowdenham is we could be driving around the big housing estate or just down all these country lanes between the villages. I mean, the contrast in what you can drive on this one map is just phenomenal. The variety that you've got is just absolutely amazing in where you can drive and the areas that you explore, and it's so ideal for the plethora of vehicles that we now have at our disposal that I do think is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I do need to visit Edinburgh again to just spend the day in the sort of Lothian buses. And while I was up there from their travel shop, I bought their anniversary book, had a read through that. That was really insightful, showing the history and bits like that. Hopefully bits I can include in future videos. And then I collected the different timetables that were available, showcasing the sort of different opcos that they run, including a little small operation in Berwick that they seem to operate in North Berwick, from just a little independent that Lothian randomly purchased, that I thought was also really cool. And this idea that if you buy a full entire network ticket for Lothian, that's an operator you can sample. So for me, I think that that's going to be little quirks and little things like that. Are really what I'm going to be interested in with a trip up to Lothian buses. So I mean, I do just want to spend a lot more time around Edinburgh. I do want to have a lot more of an explore around there, and I think an explore plus a couple of videos could be tied into one. So if you are watching this because it's got I'm driving a Lothian bus, and you are either from or interested in Edinburgh, in the proceedings of Lothian bus, let me know what sort of videos you'd like to see on the Amwell Central channel. It's something that will be next year for certain. Unfortunately, it will not be this year. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with me this year, so it will not be this year, unfortunately. But looking into next year's content, a trip up there again is something I am putting into consideration. However, again, as I do say, there is going to be Edinburgh and Scotland is featuring in content coming up on the Amwell Central channel very soon, so do make sure you don't miss out on that. But just let me know what kind of things you'd want to see. Would you like to see sort of videos on the new kit that they've got? Would you like to see videos? Oh no, I don't think I'm driving that badly. Possibly the odd curve, but I'm not driving that badly that they should be wanting to get off. I haven't had that notification on for a while. Oh. But let me know, would you like to see the new buses? Would you like more of a focus on the network? Would you like more of a focus on the separate opcos? So East Coast buses, Lothian country, similarities and differences? Is there a particular type of bus you'd want me to have a little look at over there? Something that's possibly unique that you've seen photos of and gone, oh, I'd like to see what they're like. I'd like to see how they perform, how they handle, what they're like inside, what routes they do. Or potentially just look at sort of the obscure little bits, like the different bus operations, or time it so that I go to one of the depot open days, stuff like that. Just let me know where the general consensus is and what people are interested in. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to the depot. Saw the 437, I was like, oh, okay, and then realised it was the depot. We're not going to the depot. It's 10:10 in the morning in game. It's certainly not that in real life. At the moment, but it is 10:10 in the game. Yeah, my one pet peeve with OMSI 2 map creation is having the arrows on the junction. So it's like there, I had to slow right down to see them. So it's sort of having the arrows right on the junction. I'm one of these, I just prefer a little bit of advance warning. I mean, to be fair, there's one bus route that I have driven recently. It was one that I used to know, but it's changed a fair bit, so I had to sort of go do it with someone in order to understand the new sections of route and recollect on bits that may have changed. And it was a very, very insightful trip because I managed to master all of the route minus one turn. Now, I didn't miss the turn, it was just I just couldn't remember where it was. it was really difficult to sort of recollect where it was and understand sort of when you need to slow down in preparation to turn. And it must have taken me, about 7 or 8 attempts of sort of either slowing down a bit too far, a bit too in advance, or slowing down a little bit too late. It took me about 7 or 8 attempts to sort of get to the stage where I built up enough landmarks to understand it. And it did take some time. It took some time to do that. But I think even this idea of, with routes like this, is building in the landmarks, giving that advance warning, because it does make a difference. It does make a difference. And for me, because I've built in those landmarks in real life to provide an advance warning for me, it means that the quality of drive for passengers is significantly better. And for me, it's a lot less stressful. And I mean, yes, it is just a simulator, but it's sort of the kind of thing that if you're simulating for realism, is the sort of thing that you do have to consider when making a map. Gosh, this is a tight turn. There we go. Those mirrors are the mirrors for some reason today are very off-putting. The one positive though, because we've got to balance out a slight criticism with a positive. The positive though is I do really like that every single bus stop has the service numbers on it that serve it. So if you have gone off route, you know pretty darn quickly if you have gone the wrong way. That we did go through a period on this series where I was just going all over the place and just not going anywhere near the route I was supposed to be on. That I wish was difficult to achieve. However, sometimes it's just unavoidable. Sometimes if you just look the other way or you blink, you miss a sign, and that's it. But again, very similar in real life. Thankfully, as of yet, I've not had the pain and concern of going the wrong way. I've been quite solid in getting it right. There will be a day I will do a route, I will go somewhere, I will go the wrong way, I might get lost. It will happen. I know that full well that it'll happen. However, for now it hasn't, so I'm one of the lucky people that hasn't gone the wrong way. I know it's low temperature, but we're a couple of minutes away, so you'll be fine. I've always thought Lothian buses look so smart. I do like the current livery. I think, having seen it in person now, I rate it a lot more than I used to. I think it does look really sort of classy, really professional look for the operation. However, I am still one of these that just loves this livery. I do blame it on the fact as well that it did appear in the children's show Me Too, with Lothian buses appearing in that, one of the characters in Me Too being a bus cleaner for a fictitious operator that was in fact Lothian, and I blame it on the fact that I was exposed to so many Harlequin liveried presidents and trident presidents in those video clip scenes that they had, and that I do blame my love for this livery on that. So it does all as well vary on what you are exposed to and what you see, and that I do incredibly blame my passion for this livery on that. Oh yes, this is the one with the bus lane and the barriers. Oh yes, I forgot about this. How exciting. That might be screenshot worthy, I think. Now, I have paused it because I really don't want the barrier to shut on the bus if we can help it. I believe we've got Manfred as well causing us grief trying to take the screenshot. There we go. That showcases that it's barriers. That I haven't decided which one's going to be my thumbnail, but that looks a little bit more exciting as a thumbnail. Now, for YouTube related purposes, you have to make your thumbnail exciting and intriguing and interesting in order for people to click. And if you're watching to this point and I have used that thumbnail and you are new to the channel, it has worked. It has worked very well. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe for more. There may not always be exciting thumbnails, but the general conversation, the excitement, the hype, the relatively quick driving on these routes in OMSI does tend to be consistent throughout the videos, as well as in-depth discussions about the liveries I'm driving, the relevance in real life, and anything else quite literally in between that's always worth a story. Because it is a bit of driving, it's a bit of excitement, it's also a bit of story as well. So here we go, we've made it to Garston Manor. That was a nice run. I enjoyed that. The bus was suitable. Very quick. Very, very quick. This is one of the ones that is not limited on set var. Very, very quick. And just delivery and everything. It just looks so nice. And the interior, I've always been impressed with Lothian interior. With Blue Macaw. Looks really, really nice. White destination blind, everything. Really, really nice vehicle. And a really, really nice run. So with all that said and done, it is a little bit of a shorter video, but 437's not the longest route. We've still had a nice natter, had a lovely drive of the bus. So with all that said and done, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, then do be sure to click that like button so that more people can find it and enjoy like you have. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to the Ambobus Videos YouTube channel for more content like this from the simulation section, with focuses on OMSI 2, we've got some exciting brand new release repaints coming out very soon on videos on the channel. Some local to sort of Yorkshire and bits that I tend to know a little bit more about. Some a bit further afield, but I've still got plenty of stories to tell. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next video, mate. Bye for now. Bye.